Hi everyone, how are you guys? Hope you are all safe and healthy. This is Taz from United Business Circle. Thanks for watching this video. Today I'm going to have a fire chat with Mr. Bhavesh Kothari from Mumbai on entrepreneurial mindset. Uh, Let me introduce about United Business Circle. Uh, Brand name is UBC. What we do? We are a community for entrepreneurs. We help entrepreneurs to start, sustain, and grow their business. Uh, Knowledge gaining is a part of our program where we conduct knowledge sharing sessions, events. Previously, before COVID-19, it was offline, now it's online. Um, Fire Chat is a new session where we are having a fire chat with experts who help entrepreneurs to build their careers. So let's introduce Mr. Bhavesh Kothari. Right now, he is a director for MSME Maharashtra for innovation as well as women entrepreneurship. He is also a mentor for a couple of institutions like Murta, TBI, and KC College of Engineering, as well as he is an advisory member for Andhra Innovation Council also. So he is doing very much on mentoring the startups. So he is the right person where he can be able to see each and every one entrepreneurial mindset as he is dealing with startups on daily basis. Uh, let's all welcome Mr. Bhavesh Kothari. Hi Bhavesh. I think I can call you as Bhavesh instead of
Yeah. You can call me Bhavesh.
Mr. Since we both are in the same age group, I think so.
No prefix. No prefix. Absolutely no prefix.
Thanks for accepting my invitation on this fire chat session. Um, Everything goes in recording, so we can start right away. So first, we would like to hear a keynote on from your side as a starting point, a keynote, maybe on entrepreneurial mindset or the situation right now is going on.
Great. So first of all, thank you so much for inviting me at this particular platform. Really honored and delighted. And I think in today's world, such kind of initiatives are needed. Because we all need direction, we all need guidance, and if we have someone who's a mentor or someone who can, who's a coach, can guide us through this particular turbulent times, it is the need of the hour. Because one thing that is for sure is we all will need support and collaboration and cooperation moving forward. Unfortunately, pandemic, brought that change and understanding of how we grow together as human beings, as business thought leaders, as organization heads, if we have to say that, right? Because this particular time is going to be a testing time for a lot of us, especially startups and entrepreneurs. And as I see over the past 2-3 months, I have been hearing a lot of unfortunate news about the number of startups that are closing up, and I think it's close to approximately more than 30%, which is really disheartening. But at the same time, this also gave us an opportunity to understand where are we moving as businesses, or what needs to be kept in mind that any adversities might not affect us or should not affect us so drastically, right? And because I believe that there are some things which is not in your hand, right? So rather than worrying what is not in your hand, you should worry about what can you do, what is in your control, right? So it's something that is not in your control, you can't do much about it. Like a pandemic has happened, what kind of control can you have if it's spread, right? You can only do preventions by not moving out, by ensuring that everyone is safe, right? So that is in your control. That is absolutely in your control, that you don't, venture out and do stupid things. Similarly, in business, I think what is not in your control is the external parameters. Okay, market fluctuations, buyer, if you are a B2C, then buyer behaviors or consumer behaviors. If you are a B2B, have you been able to identify the kind of requirement that the industry has? What is in your control is to make sure that you strengthen your systems, your processes, your ways of interacting with your customers, or your ways of interacting with dealing with your partners or your clients or your customers, right? So a very stringent credit line management is very important, or a financial healthiness, or a financial sanity is very important. uh, I think no one predicted that such kind of a situation will happen, but if it's happened, what are the preventive measures that you have to take? Because no longer the strategies that you would have put 5 months ago or 6 months ago will be relevant, and it's but obvious. You don't need me or someone to tell this, to be very honest to anyone. What is needed is, how do we maneuver now moving forward, is the question that we all need to ask. So that is something that we as a community, we as individuals, we as teams can come together and start at least looking at some of the macro issues or the micro issues that might crop up in, let's say, in the next 2-3 years, or next 6 months. And can we be agile and build such strategies? Because as I said, what works now might not work tomorrow, or maybe in the next three hours or 4 hours. You don't know. Things are changing very drastically. Situations are changing very drastically. So do you cut corners at one end, or do you improve efficiencies? So that's the thought that I wanted to start with.
Yeah, it's good one. As you said, for a business, cash flow is more important. So now it's more important. You should have some cash flow for next 3 to 4 months to do a business. Something like this happened. Okay, previously we had in Chennai, we had tsunami, we had flood. Those are only a week. Only a week we can able to survive. Even if you got some earthquake or something like that, we can recover within a week, right? But this is something like we never seen in our lifetime. Maybe our previous generation also. So doing business, if you see my office, it's a 2,000 square feet. So nobody is there. I'm sitting here, but people are working from home. But still, I'm coming to office as an entrepreneur mindset. I have to push them to work, since work from home is new for us, for India. So we have to streamline the process. We have to validate, and we have to get a quality service from each and every person, and also on time. So we have a lot of challenges in work from home, right? So we have internet connection, infrastructure at home. In some of the employees, when we deliver the systems, they don't even have a chair and a table. So those are most, in Indian scenario, it's very new. So as an entrepreneur, we have to push them, and we have to adopt the situation, and we have to go. So thank you very much. So as you're seeing a lot of startups as a mentor, you are a mentor for at least 3 to 4 institutions. And you might be seeing a lot of startups and entrepreneurs. So how can one know that I have the entrepreneurial mindset so that I can start a business?
So as I say, entrepreneurs cannot be manufactured, right? It cannot be made. What can be made is, how are you thinking, right? First, what is your understanding about it? Over the past 8-9 years or so, in my mentoring career, if I have to say, I mean, it is not a career per se, but my experience in that journey, been a lot of things that I think we as an entrepreneur need to first understand. The one is, it is not only about money. Okay, at all point of time, it is about value. What is the value that you're bringing, right? A classic example is, the statement that I make, the what, why, and how of your business. If you are able to define that to start with, and the second thing is, I think we also need to be candid with ourselves that not everyone can be an entrepreneur, right? Because it really takes a lot of a toll on your mindset or your mental capacities. It really takes a lot of effort, and it takes a journey of at least 1,000 days. If you're being able to survive that 1,000 days, I think you've made your first mark. Right now, how you survive is, either you are floating around, or you are either burning cash, or you're being positive, right? So entrepreneur again a very ambiguous term, right? Or a very volatile term. A tea vendor, or a roadside shop, he also is an entrepreneur, right? He's also making money, right? So understand the difference between a startup and an entrepreneur, right? So as I said, till the time you've been through that, then that 100 days, then those 500 days, and then those 1,000 days milestones, right? You become an enterprise, a micro enterprise. Till the time you're still starting up. Okay, you're still trying to figure out, because you don't know. Like, for example, a year ago, a startup would have raised, let's say, $10 million. Today, I don't know whether they exist or not, because let's assume Corona can be one factor. There is a tsunami. There is a lot of factors which is, again, as I said, not in your control, right? So it's good to give this gyan to people, right? And I always believe that if you don't know anything, maybe say yes, you don't know, or maybe go and ask, learn. Okay, so I see a lot of people who've learned technology today. With no one thought we would go virtual, and we would be interacting virtually, in such an extensive way. I think this 90 days have been like living on the virtual edge, right? So that's been the experience for almost every one of us.
Not 90 days, it's more than 100 days.
Yeah, it's more than 100 days now, right? It's more than 100 days now that, we have all been virtually connected. I remember, my time when...
But still government is open, but people are not coming outside.
So because there is a lot of fear, right?
Yeah.
And the reason is because, I don't know, because of digital media, that are we getting influenced because of that, or it is the reality that we need to be cautious, right? Because as you rightly said, we never saw this coming, and we have never experienced as a race, as a human race, especially the past 90 years, or maybe around 9 decades. I think we would have not seen such kind of a space. So it is very, very new for all of us. We are all trying to figure out what to do. The second challenge is that were we prepared for such kind of adversities? We don't know. I mean, I'm sure we have not prepared ourselves for being locked in for 100 days and trying to figure out, now what do I do? But as people, what we have done is we have actually tried to overcome some of the challenges and said, hey, look, you can use technology. So today, 30% to 40% of the workforce has gone, work from home or the virtual space, right? And as I was saying, I remember my time a few years ago. I used to use Skype to actually interact with global clients. Today, I am interacting with literally, someone 4 blocks away from my apartment, because I can't venture out. Another analogy, which is very predominant in on the internet world, if I have to say that, So there's a question which is asked: who changed your digital strategy? Was it the CEO, the CIO, or COVID? The answer is COVID.
Yeah.
So you have to move. You have to maneuver. There are a lot of businesses which are trying to see what can be done. And at some point of time, it is very important to now think, okay, if this has happened, now what do I do? Let's assume tomorrow if some other pandemic strikes, okay, what do you do? Uh, can there be alternatives to that? So it has to be quick decision making. It has to be agile, and all this sounds fascinating, but the fact is that we all have to do it. Do we have any option? I don't think we have any option. Uh, so as I said, what's in your control is what you could do.
Yeah. Usually I say survival of the fitness, fittest. Now we don't say that. We have to say survival of the quickest.
Yes, well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
So as you said, so entrepreneurial mindset. So we need at least 100 days to 1,000 days to prepare for doing a business, right? Um, Someone says that if you practice one thing for 10,000 hours, then you become an expert on that, right? So what are the five important entrepreneurial mindset you can suggest, or you can say that, so I have these kind of mindset to become an entrepreneur, and how to cultivate it? Suppose if I don't have such kind of, suppose I have, nowadays if you see I have an idea, then we start a business, immediately we start a company, okay? Even we don't know how to run a company, nothing, okay? Or sometimes if my boss is not good, I'm starting a new company. So these are the lot of startups is coming through these kind of mindsets, right? Either they have some idea or they have some dissatisfaction with the work, then they start a business, a startup. So what are the five important entrepreneurial mindset that can be cultivated? Even it's not, entrepreneur should be born. Usually I say you should be born at least 50%. You should be born entrepreneur. You should have that guts. Okay, since from the schooling, okay, you have to face a lot of people. Yeah, it's simple. Just simple sit and study. They are not ready for entrepreneur, right? So interaction is more important for an entrepreneur. You have to face a lot of people. So what are your first most important five entrepreneurial mindset?
So let me give you those five key pointers in a very dynamic scenario. Number one is the most important is we are not, as a society, we are not taught to handle failures. Okay. Uh, that's the first, I think, mindset that you need to cultivate, that in the journey you will fail 100,000 times. Okay. So the first very important is the failure mindset. I mean, you don't prepare for failures, right? No one prepares for failure. Everyone prepares for success. But you need to be aware of that. Okay. You don't go to an exam to fail. You don't prepare for that. You go to pass, right? But what if you fail?
That's why
That's the
the
first.
last benchers become more successful.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you look at a lot of academics,
Yeah.
the reason is because it's not because of the last benchers, or they don't have the I would say the thought, or I would say the zeal, right? It's just that maybe they don't feel that this is where I need to be. So that's a very different dynamic that you have. But understanding the importance of, if you fail, right? So you're preparing for a journey. You're not preparing for a IPSC or a UPSC exams, or maybe a bachelor's or a master's in mechanical examination, blah blah. You're preparing for a journey. So in that you will fall. How quickly you rise up is also important. What lessons are you learning from this is important. Okay, so that's the first aspect. The second aspect is the decisiveness. Okay, to succeed, as an entrepreneur, you must gain the ability to look at problem or a situation and digest all of it. Okay, you should be able to envisage. You should be able to look at a problem from all sides and all ways and means. And then take trust quick decision as well. Okay, so that's the second aspect. The third aspect is the confidence that you need to have. Okay, very important. Uh, because there are many skills that you will need to learn when you progress in your journey of an enterprise, right? And the second aspect of that is, but how will you be able to do that? So you will need to have that confidence that yes, I think I can do it. Again, there is a thin line between attitude and arrogance, right? So that's what I always say. So that confidence of is it an attitude or is it an arrogance that I don't want to, or I would want to, I can do it. Because many times what happens is we all get stuck to, oh, this is my baby or this is my business. Okay, so that is something that is very important. The fourth very critical aspect, so I said one is failure, the second is decisiveness, the third is confidence, the fourth is accountability. Okay, it is, that is where another aspect of being accountable to what you are doing, being accountable to your partners, being accountable to your vendors, your customers, your stakeholders, your investors, right? Because if this is an action that I have taken and this is the replication or the result that has come, I need to be accountable first. Okay, and it needs really high degree of accountability. Not just, oh, okay, I have done it, now what? Okay, so that doesn't work, because whoever's action it is, right? Ultimately, it is an organization that is representing, moving forward, right? So many falter in that space. Accountability is very, very important. The fifth and the last, I would not say not the last one, but the most important would be resilience. You will need to learn to or deal with situations of making mistakes and failing, as I said, right? Uh, what important is to get up and move forward. Uh, and also at the same time, look at what are the opportunities that I have. Look at the learnings that I have got. Look at the areas that I could improve. Can I change certain things? Can I change the ways of my operations or the ways I have been dealing with? Are there any loopholes that I could plug in? Are there any am I listening to my customers or my consumers or my partners? Okay, are they really becoming a part of my system, or they're just being there, right? So it's a collaboration that you need to build. And that is what is also important, because this is where you will be able to identify where the journey is moving to. How am I now going to look at all these aspects and build a great enterprise? Uh, Let me give you one more bonus, point, uh, which is also very important, because once you have five of this, bring that humility, the sixth aspect. Okay, and when you bring in that humility, you will obviously be away from that pride and the arrogance that you might want to, oh, I am the the founder of this company, oh, I am the the owner, this is my idea. Okay, uh, because somewhere down the line, somewhere in some part of the world, some similar genius would be thinking about the same idea. Okay, this are, as you say, those eureka moments are always there within our lives. The moment we get up in the morning, right? The first eureka moment is when you get up in the morning and when you're going to your bath or your potty, right? That's where all this disturbances starts, right? But what you need to be very about is, or careful about, is the humility that you need to bring in. That will make you grounded. That will make you a person who who people will like, and this will bring in a lot of benefits as you go the journey on that. It will also help you focus and become more aligned to what you want to achieve in life.
Also help to hear more,
Yeah,
to listen.
I mean, in trust me, in sales, I love this Pareto principle very much. I mean, it's so relevant, right? 80%, 20%, right? So you have to be a 80% listener and 20% speaker. Very important, because that's where you will come to know, right, where you're moving. Is it right? Are the consumers buying? What are they talking about me? Are they really becoming my brand ambassadors? Are they helping me reach out to? Because the moment I like it, I would definitely go and ask, tell people, oh, okay, you go to this particular company, you buy this product, right? Because this is the journey that you have. Once you have a million customers, then I think it becomes very difficult, right? You can't listen to everyone. But once you have 10, 100,000 customers, I think the voice is still clear. You can still, give a lending hand and a ear to your customers, because this 10,000 are the first army that you are building, and then you are, building a base, and they are the soldiers who will take you to the next battlefield as well.
Okay, thank you for 6, 1 plus 1 bonus, 5 plus 1. So hope the entrepreneurs can use of these five important entrepreneurial mindsets. So one more question on this: whether this entrepreneurial mind, this entrepreneurial is something like is one's attitude, or as you said, all these 6 points, it's something like an attitude, or I have to develop.
There's a difference between something that and there's a difference between something that you acquire, right? So skills can be acquired, attitude or mindset cannot be acquired, right? It's that comes within. That's with a lot of learnings that you have had, right? So you can keep developing,
Okay.
right? But till the time you don't have that habit of not listening and not learning, I think this cannot be developed, right? That's the beauty about it. Okay. The people who stay hungry, stay foolish, stay humble are the people who are actually making a difference, right? Again, what is your end goal? I mean, do you really understand your end goals, right? Where do you want to move? Are you clear about your vision? Are you clear about your mission? Are you clear about your value systems that you're building? Because it's not only you who's going to run the business, right? You will have to create a culture around that, right? So that culture, it will come from you. Those processes and systems will start from you to first, right? Because you are the ultimate, person who's putting to the effort to build it. So if you don't follow that, and if you don't build that as a habit, then I think you expecting someone else to do it is stupidity. If I have to say that, it's foolishness, right? So if you're starting a business and you ask your employees or your people to come at 9 and you walk in at 10 o'clock just because you're a boss, that doesn't work, right? And then you leave at 6 o'clock, whereby your people are working at till 7, 8. That also doesn't work. Right? So that doesn't mean that you have to work, much more longer just to show that, oh, I am working for 16 hours. I think you're working because it is your business, right? And people will follow you. So that mindset of of building, not just about an organization. That's why it's called organization and not individual business. Right? It encompasses a lot of aspects, and I'm sure there are hundreds and thousands of examples of how great workplaces are built. Right? You need to bring that innovation. You need to bring something different, because honestly, we all spend more than half of our lives, working. Right? So that's a second family that you're building. So you have to be empathetic towards your people. And especially with these times, there are a lot of job losses. So there are a couple of, inputs that I have heard from the industry, the couple of inputs that we have been talking as, sorry. So one of the examples that is predominant is that instead of you removing your key employees, make them as stakeholders, give them some sweat equity, make them a part of the journey. I'm sure they would also understand and say, hey, look, I am with you because now I am going to be an integral part and not just another employee with you. So I also would want to take that risk if you are taking. Right. So there are ways and means of doing things as well. How can you do it, or does it make sense? That comes later, but at least you can propose together as a team and say, hey, look, this is a great turbulent time. We understand there's cash crunch. I can't pay salaries. what do I do? Okay, can I make you a part of the system? Maybe, because how much can you take back, right? You're going to be empty anyways once the journey is over. But people will respect you for being candid, and they will respect you for being honest, and they will become more attached to the organization, and they will feel that, okay, I have, they have taken care of me. A classic example of, I think Asian Paints, right? People would have heard the news of how they actually gave, raised people's salaries, right? In such a difficult times. Okay, and they supported their vendors and partners in such a wonderful time, right? And I think this is a classic example of how different they thought. And I'm sure whoever would have the board, or whoever has thought this brilliant, they have made a lot of gratitude, not only gratitude, also they've made partners for life. So, can everyone afford that? I don't think everyone will afford that. But you need to change something, right? You need to bring something. There's some value proposition that we can bring on board. Somewhere we could be able to fix something. And as human race, I think we are known to fix a lot of things, quicker and faster. So we've always won against the difficult times, and that's why we are known as the superior species as well. But being said that, you still need to be on the ground as well. So that's my take.
As you are a mentor, do you advise them on these aspects like entrepreneurial mindset to your mentees, or you just focus on only on the business operations?
So, Thas, I think there's a lot of ambiguity in terms of understanding the role of a mentor, right? I always say a mentor is a guy with who, or a person with you in your rally race, right? You have a navigator and you have a driver, right? So the startup founder or the business thought leader is the driver. I am a navigator.
Okay.
At all point of time, there are startups that I am currently, deeply engaging with. There are 3 or 4 startups that I'm actually on the board with them. Okay, working closely with them, and I advise them on a lot of aspects. So, for example, one of the startups actually had a trouble with one of the co-founders not responding to a lot of things. I actually went them and told them that, hey, look, first understand what is the problem, right? Why is he or she not responding? What is the challenge? Is it a personal challenge? Is it a professional challenge? Is it a financial challenge? Is it an emotional challenge? You need to be empathetic, and I understand that you have to move forward, but you cannot move forward alone. You'll have to take the people along with you, right? So you need to first understand what is the problem, so isolate the problem and then address the problem individually. Okay, is a finance a problem? Is he facing problem personally? Is there a family problem? Is there is there any other area that he's not feeling or being motivated? Does he have any issues with you or the team or the decision that you're making, right? So first you understand the problem, then you isolate and change things, right? So if this is not the problem, great. Now I've understood this is not the problem. B is not the problem. C is not the problem. D is the problem. So now you've understood D is the problem, then you focus on that and then find solutions with that, right? So similar advices is what I give. Apart from, those business advices, those ideas, and I always tell them, one thing is that you need to be very clear is be transparent. Be very honest with yourself. Be very candid with the people whom you're dealing, because people will understand. The point is that you need to go and tell them. You can't expect people to assume things. Assumptions create challenges, and challenges creates problems, right? Challenges can create great solutions, but in this case, challenges can create problems if you start assuming things. So be transparent. Go ahead. Be very open be very open and vocal, but don't be very arrogant or ignorant. Okay? So these are some of the thought that I give, and then what you do is, as a mentor, you don't give them solutions, right? You have to point them to the direction. They have to find the solutions, right? So you need to seed certain thoughts and help them ignite those thought processes so that they can think beyond that. Because when you're in a trouble, right, what you do is you start thinking and you don't even know what to think. So that's why you have to take a step back and say, okay, what if I am or someone else would be in that situation? What if someone is in that box? How would that person react, right? So you need to look at a bit from a distance and try to analyze that. Right? That actually might help you. So these are some of the thoughts that I talk to my mentees, and then I tell them that, look, I am not a magician. No one is a magician here, right? So you will have to again come back to me to understand whether this worked or not. If not, what else can be done? So again, I always tell them, don't come to me with a problem. Okay, come to me with a problem which you think can be the best solution according to you, and you and me together, we can sit down and then analyze and do an analysis and then say, okay, now dissection has been done. Now do you think this will work? Right? Because as a role of a mentor, it is also of a huge responsibility, because one wrong solution or suggestion can actually hamper, or maybe create disasters. So it is very, very important, and I always say, as a mentor, you have to be also candid. If you don't know, please go ahead and say, look, I don't know. Don't mince your words by, oh, okay, I know everything, because someone has come to you as, with an hope to find an answer, right? And that's your moral and responsibility to guide them. If you don't have the answer, be very candid. Can we together find that answer? Can we ask maybe someone in our known fraternity, or our known visibility, or known friends, or the known expert that we know, and we can go and talk to them and see if what is there. Right? There's no harm in being honest that I don't know, rather than being in denial. I think these are small but yet important aspects, and I think everyone knows about this, right? This everyone knows how to do it. So you have to start with basics, is what I feel.
Okay. Suppose if you see your mentee is something like arrogant and he's not having humility and he's spending lavish, do you advise them?
As I said, see, that's what happens is, how do you spend is something that is not my decision, right? As a person, right? I can only raise a red flag, okay, maybe once, twice, thrice. Then I would say, look, you are the best person, right? And I think we all are smart enough to save money, right? Fortunately, we have been taught to be resourceful, so. But yes, we end up doing some things, right? And at times it might become a great experiment to understand. Okay, but you need to understand how do you balance between sanity and insanity. So there has to be a balance. There has to be rationality in what you do. So most of the times I don't get into the financial aspect because that is something that the discussion is very clear between us. Okay, before I get onto the engagement, there's a very clear cut pointers that are mentioned. What all help do you need? Okay, let's sit down and jot this out. Okay, let's work on this. If you have a challenge, can we find a solution to that? Okay. And I think so far what I have seen is, I would say none of the mentees that I would have addressed would have went ahead and done something foolish or stupid that it would have burned a pocket, hole in that pocket. So because I think that is very important to bring on table that, look, any financial or any money decisions that is clearly your take. I can only give you my perspective. Rest, I think, if it makes sense, you should look at it. And there's no harm in spending money if it is giving you ROI, right? Return on investment, return on efforts, ROA. So ROE is what I call return on efforts, right? If you're putting that effort and if it works, good. So you will have to take those minimal risk, right? You can't, and I don't understand what is calculated risk. I mean, do you calculate a risk? Uh, I don't know, maybe I might be old school or no old school. But yeah, you need to calculate your options and weigh them in the right manner. Okay, maybe that's the meaning of that. You need to take risk, and it's a risk, right? If you've taken that risk, be happy about it that you took that decision, but it should not hamper your, your business in such a way that you don't have any more risk-taking options available for you.
As you rightly said, resourcefulness and optimization is more important for an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So whatever they spend, they have to get that. So they have to use the resources in such a way it should be more optimized.
Yes.
Okay. Next is, can an entrepreneur have more than one mentor? Like a mentor in operation, a mentor for technology, a mentor for finance, something like they can have something more than one mentor.
Yes, I think they should have. The reason is because as your business grows, right, as your business progresses, you will need different people with different capabilities, right? So when you're at a very early stage, when you're at an ideation stage, right, you should need a very different mentor. Okay, but if you are now on a fast-paced growth stage and you need to have acceleration in your go-to-market strategy, then I would rather have someone who understands the marketing and the branding and customer acquisition and growth. I would rather have someone who understands that rather than having someone who doesn't fit into that. So you should have multiple mentors at different stages of your business, because we all have limited understanding and resources, right? That we as human beings, right? So for example, I might not want to get into a space like a supply chain and operation, though I might have understood that from a macro view, but micro view I would not, right? So I should not get into that as a mentor. I would rather get someone who spent 25, 30 years and he is decoded and he is sliced and diced the entire supply chain understanding of the industry. It's better to have that expert, right? So you need to have a subject matter expert in certain areas of the business. I might not understand, certain aspects of retail for that matter, let's say. Okay. But if a retail expert, who spent 20 years or 15 years or 30 years, and he is, again, as I said, he's reached out to every nook and corner of the city and he knows every retail mechanism of the industry, you better get that person on board, right? You can't have a jack of all, master of none, at some point of time. So I'm an expert in sales. I'm an expert in go-to-market strategies. I would rather focus on that. Okay, this is how you build that. This is how you look at sales, right? If you have a problem in building your sales funnels, if you have a problem in understanding objections, if you have a problem in understanding price points, if you have understanding how do I crack CXO level engagements, I can help you with that. And what I could help you with as a mentor is people who know subject matters, right? Or I can get you a supply chain expert who spent 30 years in World Bank, in United Nations. I can get you a subject matter expert in people, in HR, who spent 20, 25 years and who's a CHRO of the organization he is currently, right? So you need to also, as a startup, understand the strength of your mentor. You need to also set down certain processes along with your mentor that, look, this is what my expectation with you is. Don't go to a mentor saying that, oh, you do sales for me. That's not your job. That's not the sales. That's your job. That's not the mentor's job, right? Don't tell the mentor, oh, I want you to get me funding. That's not your job. Can you make me fund ready? Can you help me in, understanding how do I talk to investors? What all key points do I need to, address? How do I build my projections? How do I validate those things? So that is what a mentor should be. He should be able to bridge, open doors, in short.
Next question is how to identify a good mentor. as all you already said, these are the questions.
Oh,
Because, right? Right?
So,
So what are the
when you,
questions you just told me, right? So the questions you ask with the mentors, identify a good mentor, right?
so identifying a good mentor, I think it's like, searching for a needle in a haystack, right? Because not all of them would want, the same spaces, right? Or same things. Everyone has a different style. Everyone has a different approach. Everyone has a different understanding, right? So as I said, you need to be sure, why do you want a mentor in the first place? You know, do you really need a mentor? So you need to understand as a starter first. So start with that. Start with why. Why do you need a mentor? Okay. Then come to what. Okay. What is it that you would expect from the mentor? Okay. Very clear demarcations. Okay. What do you expect from him? Set those expectations. Okay. Then come to how. How else can he help you? Okay. Or how will he help you in the what and why? So very clear. So once you've set that expectation, you need to also understand how long do you want him. Okay, would you need him for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, lifetime? Understand that. Then understand what is it that you are going to give him or her. Right? You just want freebies, a one-time advice, long term. If you want one time, great. Put quick 5 6 questions. This is what my problem is. Ask, move out. Understand. Go back to the mentor saying that, look, this is what has been. A lot of people actually don't do this. A lot of people don't go back to their mentors and say, oh, you helped me with this, so many pointers. This has been beneficial or it has been a disaster. Because as mentors, we also will understand that next time we should not give this stupid strategy to them. So we are not magicians. We are as human as you are as a startup. Right? We might have seen maybe 4 or 5 rains, as कहते हैं हमने 2-4 बारिश ज़्यादा देखी होगी. We would have experienced a bit more than you are, but situations then and situations now are different, right? So we would have given you advice based on the understanding of the situation then, and then analyzed it, and then given you the answer, keeping in mind now. So that will be a huge ambiguity then otherwise. So go back to your mentor and give him, the feedback, and this is what has happened. This is how it has worked. Right? So because he or she also will understand that, look, now I need to be mindful. Now I need to make sure that I have understood what you wanted. So do that. Don't get a mentor for free. Trust me. Okay. Otherwise, what will happen is he or she will maybe, out of his or her goodness, maybe pick up a call twice, thrice, give you 2-3 names, and then he or she will also lose interest. Yeah, I have been helping you. You have not come back to me. You're just asking me. You're not coming with solutions. What is it for me? Because I'm going to spend my time and energy. Where do I see value? Do I see that seriousness in you as a startup or as a business? If you don't give me something, then I think either a mentor should be, I don't understand this free mentoring, honestly. Why should I as a mentor give free advice? And then there are debates, then you become an advisor. No, it is not. It is not. An advisor is something different. A mentor is something different. I mean, these are my views, honestly. And we can keep debating on that. There would be hundreds of people who would say, no, this is how it is. I say, this is my perspective. This is what I believe in, and this is what I bring on the board. And there are startups who come back to us saying that, look, you've been a great support, right? In old days, remember Guru Dakshina was one of the biggest paramparas, right? You used to give back to your guru something, right?
Yeah.
He was a mentor, right? Gratitude is great to give, but it does not help you run your businesses, right? So that is one thought. And I have been fortunate enough to bring mentoring to the forefront, for the past 9-10 years now. When I started my journey, I still have amazing mentors who I go back to. I still have amazing, mentors who I go and take advice with, and they keep guiding me also. So we all have mentors. Pick up any any top-notch names in the world, some of the richest billionaires, they had multiple mentors, so, and they are proud because that's what they have been by listening to them. So very important, very important.
So fine, we are coming to the end. Is it the right good time to start a business?
There is always a good time, honestly. There's no right or wrong time. I don't understand what is the wrong time or the right time. Right? The moment you feel that you want to start is the right time. But before that, you need to do a lot of groundwork, right? You need to prepare a battlefield for you to go and fight the battle, right? So you need to prepare yourself. You need to build the armor. You need to build, the weapons. Right? So every time is the right time. So for example, one of the case studies, or I would say not a case study. I've heard about this during my discussions and interaction with a lot of my colleagues and friends from the industry. Someone who was manufacturing raincoats, okay, went ahead and started manufacturing, PPE kits. Now, would he have ever thought in his lifetime that I would venture into from a rainwear to a PPE kit? And that particular company is, I think, exporting it to global markets. So he started it, right, because it was a need of the hour and he saw the opportunity, right? So there are a lot of people who have started becoming entrepreneurs because they were losing jobs, right? But then, you have to be cautious. Entrepreneurship is a very long journey. You can't just start because you can't become a freelancer. You can do it. You can make money. There are hundreds and thousands of ways of making money, right? So a lot of my friends started new businesses. I personally launched 2 or 3 new businesses. We launched one of our initiatives called Women Millionaire Summit. Okay, it's a 3-day summit, virtual summit, with 13 countries engaging, 65 speakers, 21 tracks. We have some best names, like Sadhvi Bhagwati ji. We have some of the best, thought leaders from the industry coming in. Now, as a business, I'm not into events, to be very honest, right? I'm into creating opportunities and platforms where people could come. So one of my initiatives called Women Power, as you see on the backdrop, right? This is a one-day conference that we do pan India, and we invite women entrepreneurs as speakers. We invite women entrepreneurs to participate, right? So 95% of my speakers and participants are women entrepreneurs or women who want to start their businesses. So we took it offline. We said we will take it. We create a new property. We bring in 3 days of virtual engagement, and we are starting from not talking to people about how do you do business. Okay, what do you do in difficult times? We don't want to preach that. I think we all learn as we grow and evolve. But what we did was we said, can we do a reflection of what we are as a human being? So we're not going into the religious part, but we are doing a complete 1-day track on spirituality and how it will help you to build more mindfulness and build more resilience, right? So as I say, your soul is your armor, right? Your shield, right? If you have a strong soul, you can build a very strong mindset, right? When you build a strong mindset, you can fight all adversities, right? So we took a step back, and we are fortunate that we have speakers from Canada, we have speakers from Austria, we have speakers from US, we have speakers from UK, all the way from Arizona, USA. We have a speaker from Switzerland. We have a speaker from Germany. So we reached out to the global market. We were thinking that it will be a local event that we would want to do virtual. I thought I could announce this, but I don't want to announce this. But we have one of the best gurus. You will see the announcement on our website also and on the digital media. We have one of the best gurus who's been the thought leader in the industry. He is confirmed to be virtually present with us. And if he's a global guru on sales and spirituality as well. And so he is confirmed with us. So look at what happened, right? We were into mentoring, we're into funding, and suddenly we went into a virtual space and we created a platform where we could do certain change, in the people's mindset, in how do you fight adversities. So we have tracks on spirituality. We have tracks on sorry, not women empowerment. I don't believe women need empowerment. We all need support, right? We have tracks on POSH, prevention of sexual harassment, because virtual harassment has become very predominant now because of the virtual world, right? We're talking about putting processes. Women support women. How have been the industry? Are we just walking the talk, or are we really doing action? So such amazing concept that actually sprung out of Corona. I mean, trust me, this has transformed me as a person. Because it really needs a mindset to fight such adversity, right? My team is in distress. There is virtually a business that is, needs to be taken care of, right? There's a family that needs to be taken care of. So at two fronts you're fighting today. You're fighting for the safety of your business and you're fighting for the safety of your family, right? Which I think before December, January, no one saw that, I would say. Right? You were only bothered, okay, I want to, make sure my family is safe and, so that I can focus on business. But now it has become much more imperative that people should be safe because of whatever outside it is. So we're doing this, we're bringing in a very different perspective of, the mind, body, and soul, and preparing yourself for any adversities. Once you have done that, okay, we forgot one of the beautiful aspects of, how we were abusing the nature. We need to be, very careful about that, right? I think this is the outcome that nature says, hey, look, you need to shut up, guys, stop, pause. Okay, you're choking me. I also need to breathe. And and there was one, I think somewhere I read that the animals are roaming outside and we are being caged. Look at the irony, right? We all were running a race. We don't even know where we wanted to be, right? And the nature said, look, boss, I'm going to lock you down. Okay, you've been trying to be too fast. You're trying to overpower me, which is not going to happen because you are just one drop of energy in this entire universe. So relax. You can't do this to me, right? So that's a spiritual learning.
Yeah, my wife is a yoga teacher and is a French teacher, and also she helps me on business, on sales in European countries. She always says, mind, body, and soul should be aligned always.
Yes, very important.
And right now she is saying, if you can't go out, go inside.
Yes. Wonderfully said. You have to go inside to go outside.
Go outside. So, thank you. So, last I would like to ask about this Women Millionaire Summit, but already you mentioned everything. What's the website?
It's called womenmillionairesummit.com. It's WOMENMILLIONAIRESUMMIT.com.
So only for
Women Summit.
This is only for
no, it is for open. It is for open.
Okay.
It is open for men also.
Okay.
We have men speakers also, by the way. Okay. The idea was there is another reason why we actually did that. One is because we are a platform, we are a community of women entrepreneurs. That's the first reason. Second reason is that today people, the industry is talking about a lot of aspects and the support about women entrepreneurs, women in workplaces, right? So there is a rise in the women in the system, and they are taking charge, right? That's the second. The third is in the pandemic, women actually took charge, and they also ensured that they keep the house safe, right? So it was not only women. So I would say both men and women, both the genders, okay, and I don't want to genderify, okay, because of we don't want to bring gender biases because it's not about gender, but unfortunately the society has been talking about only two genders or currently three genders or four genders, whatever it is, right? But we all have to play a role, right? And how can we only play a role is by aligning ourselves, right? So again, a man who was always known as going outside and doing work and business, and a woman was supposed to be doing, a lot of housework.
This is mainly
Together came in.
This is mainly in city. Okay, if you go to rural India, only women works more than men's.
Yeah, absolutely. And women and men are all relaxed.
Rural India is entirely controlled by women.
Yeah.
Not city. City is different.
City is different, right? City is different. But see, look at both of them played a vital role. Okay. Yeah. For example, men started helping, in house of course, right? So again, this reminds us that we need everyone to build a harmonious system, right? You need the energies, you need to understand the spirituality aspect, you need to understand the mindfulness aspect, you need to understand the business aspect. Once you've understood the spiritual aspect, once you've understood the mindfulness aspect, then businesses will take care, right? A lot of seminars happened on how to do business post-COVID, what happened with post-COVID, right? But look at what also happened, right? We started thinking about being mindful. We started thinking about being healthy, right? We started focusing on hygiene, on wellness, right? We started thinking about our life and saying that, hey, look, I think for me to fight a corona or for me to fight an adversity, I need to make myself strong from within. Once I have been strong from within, then I can go out and fight any battles. So this is what the entire 3-day summit brings us. It is on 24th, 25th, and 26th. I would urge everyone, please spend these 3 days, okay, and be there with us. Trust me, you will love the kind of lineup that we have put together, the kind of content that we have put together. And the reason why we came together is because we've experienced that. We've experienced that, and that came out of the entire experience of the discussion that we have been having as a team with the people outside. I attending a lot of webinars. So we have been staring at screen for the past 100 days, right? I would urge, give me those another 3 days, and you could definitely see a change. And lastly, but not the least, is you can pick and choose any slot that you want to attend. It is not necessary that you attend the entire 3 days. If you attend the entire 3 days, kudos, you could spend 21 hours with us, which is amazing. So it starts at 11:30 and ends at 6:37. Okay, so that's the 3 day. But you can choose your own topics that you would want to listen to. We have some great spiritual gurus. B.K. Shivaniji is coming. Sadhvi Bhagwati ji is coming. Mr. Dhanendra Jain ji is coming. He's going to unlock our potential, unlocking the mind. There's a workshop by him as well. So visit the website, do register. There's a very minimal fee that we have kept. It's 649 rupees only. Okay, and
all the 3 days.
All the 3 days. All the 3 days. Yeah, we want as many people as to join it. It's a great opportunity.
It's a great value for money.
It's a value for money. It's a great investment for yourself, right? Even if one module, one learning out of it can transform you completely, I think no better investment you could ever do with yourself.
One spark.
Yes, one spark. Yeah. See, that one spark changed a lot of us. Yes. Right? Can we transform that to 100 people? Can we take this to 1,000 people? Can they take to another 1,000 people? So that was the idea behind putting this Women Millionaire Summit. Right? So that's the whole crux.
Yeah. Thank you, Bhavesh. Thank you for your time, and it's a wonderful session. Hope the community and other entrepreneurs can extract content from this video and they can implement. So daily we are seeing a lot of webinars. It's overloaded right now. Yeah. But whether we are going to implement it or not, that's more important.
So that's why we are not doing, we are not going to talk about how do you implement things in business. Yeah. We've taken a step back and said, look, there's been a lot of learning that you have done over the 90 days, right? What has been the gist? How do you identify that gist? Okay.
And also it will be more inspiration to see the women leaders across the world so that they can inspire others.
True, very true. In fact, they are super excited to be a part of it. They love the concept. They said, hey, look, this is something very unique. As I said, one of the spiritual gurus actually writes an email to me saying that, look, I'm happy to be a part of this. And I love the entire concept that you have put together. It is brilliant. And we were overwhelmed. So we are going live with him on, in some time to discuss in terms of how we could, bring more value. So he was super excited. He said, can we get on a call? Can we get on a Zoom, or can we get on a virtual call? Because I would want to know more. What made you bring this thing to us, to the world? So I said it was just a spark, a learning. The team sat down together and said, we don't want to do those typical, how do you start your business? How do you run your business? How do you raise funds? How do you talk to investors? I think that will come later. Before that, can we help you prepare for the battlefield? Okay. Can we help you prepare for the turbulence, right? When you are in an airplane and there's a turbulence, the first thing is the mask comes out, right? And the announcement happens that first you wear the mask and then you ask others to wear the mask. So this is what we want to do. This is what we are saying, that you need to first empower yourself, or you need to first, become more mindful and more resilient. And then you go and talk to your team, because that is how the process has to be. Strengthen yourself so that you can strengthen others.
Congratulations and best wishes for this Women's Millionaire Summit.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.